Just because Nalan held her fiancé's hand with intertwined fingers once before marriage, her conservative mother thinks she's been defiled and committed a grave sin. Mama smears a cursed mud all over Nalan's right hand, claiming it will purify her evil soul. At the same time, she warns Nalan, "Don't touch any man before marriage, or I'll break your hand for sure." Dad's heart aches to see her hand wrapped up like a mummy's, but under Mama's fierce stare, Nalan dares not tell the truth. She lies that she accidentally burned herself with boiling water. Just then, Mr. Koroglu calls Dad, saying he wants to take his future daughter-in-law to pick out a wedding dress. Mama has no reason to refuse. She drags Nalan to the basement to put on a corset, warning her again and again, "Don't meet your fiancé alone before the wedding." Nalan looks helpless. When will this torment end? Mr. Koroglu absolutely dotes on Nalan as his daughter-in-law. The usually stingy man splurges for the first time. He gifts her a prime piece of land in Istanbul, nestled between mountains and sea. He also takes her to an automobile dealership, telling her to pick out a luxury car worth millions as a present. Mama makes Nalan keep the call on the entire time, monitoring her via the phone, terrified she'll meet her fiancé alone. However, what she fears most comes true. When Sedat hears they're at the dealership, he shows up too. Nalan panics instantly, hurrying to hang up on Mama. She forces a calm face, exchanging polite greetings with Sedat. Mama senses something's wrong when the call cuts off suddenly. She floods Nalan's phone with text, demanding she answer. Nalan uses a test drive as an excuse, hiding in a car to answer Mama's call. Nalan says categorically that she hasn't seen Sedat. Unfortunately, Sedat opens the passenger door and asks, "Do you like this car?" Mama immediately realizes Nalan is lying and is determined to punish her severely. Once Nalan gets home, Mama locks her in the basement, where underwear and corsets hang everywhere. She intends for Nalan to taste fear, to crush any nerve she has to lie again. Gazing at the shackles, Nalan huddles in the corner, trembling uncontrollably. It's not until her friend comes to see her the next day that Mama finally lets her out. After this punishment, Nalan learns to be obedient. Filler wants to take her out, but Nalan insists on staying home, behaving herself. Just then, Sedat calls to ask her out to dinner, saying, "A day apart feels like 3 seasons." Even though she wanted to, Nalan refuses on the grounds that she has to do her housework. Biller rails at her for being stupid, urging her earnestly to loosen up. The most important things in life are freedom and happiness. Without them, what's the difference between you and an animal? Sedat's so good to you, but you keep pushing him away, it'll break his heart. Where else will you find a husband who's rich, handsome, and this kind? Nalan wavers. If she loses this chance to marry, she'll probably be trapped in this cage forever. She has no choice but to tell Biller that Mama doesn't want her to meet her fiancé before the wedding. Biller has a sudden flash of inspiration and suggests going to ask Dad to cover for her. The two rush downstairs to ask Dad for help. He fully approves, seeing no harm in it. After all, spending more time with her fiancé is how you get to know someone. But he warns Nalan to get back before Mama arrives. With her father's approval, Nalan calls Sedat back, saying plans have changed, she's free to see him now. As soon as they arrive at the restaurant, Sedat mentions he has a wild idea. He wants to get married right away. It moves Nalan, who's never been in love, to tears. He takes the chance to hold her hand, testing her feelings. Nalan pulls back instinctively, but then remembers her friend's words about bravely chasing happiness. She gathers courage and reaches out her hand. Sedat pauses for a second, then breaks into a smile. He drags his chair right next to hers, murmuring sweet nothings, but Nalan hears none of it. Her eyes are fixed on his lips, but when his lips draw near, fear takes over. She jumps up, excusing herself to the restroom. Her shyness strikes Sedat as endearing. Neither notices they're being photographed. Meanwhile, Mama, at the dentist, sees the gossip. Fury makes her shake all over, and she rushes to track Nalan's location, heading straight for her. When the two leave the restaurant, they part reluctantly. Sedat confesses he can't bear to be apart, wanting to be with her every day. Nalan lights up, tossing aside old rules to plant a first kiss, one she's guarded for years. Unbeknownst to her, Mama watches from across the street. The sight of Nalan's shamelessness hits her like 1,000 blows. She wants to tear Nalan apart, but she holds back because paparazzi are nearby, snapping photos. Mama hurries to the herbal shop, intent on brewing holy water to exorcise evil. The pharmacist warns her that 2 of the ingredients can't be mixed. They could cause fatal allergic reactions. But Mama ignores him, fixated on the news of the kiss. When Nalan gets home, Mama isn't back. Everyone thinks their little act was flawless. Nalan drags her friend to her room, gushing about the kiss. It was magical. Biller is genuinely happy for her, congratulating her on finding true love. Mama returns home, acting as if nothing happened, and asks if they've been home all this time. Everyone affirms it in unison. That's when Mama knows they're all lying to her. Rage boils over. She makes up an excuse to send Biller home, then tells Nalan to wait for her in the basement. Mama pulls out her phone, showing Nalan the news, staring at her like the Grim Reaper. Before Nalan can explain, Mama yanks her hair, screaming about her shamelessness, how she's disgraced the family. No amount of Nalan's tearful pleas helps. Mama just keeps using that big wooden spoon to hit her. She forces Nalan to promise not to see Sedat again until the wedding. But Mama still isn't satisfied. She demands a written confession. Not until you've written, "I repent my sins 4,444 times will you step foot out of this house." Nalan has no choice but to obey. To purge her daughter of sin, Mama dumps all the herbs into a cauldron and begins brewing what she calls holy water for exorcism. 3 hours later, Mama forces Nalan to drink it, threatening, "If you don't repent, I'll end my own life to settle this." Nalan has never defied Mama all these years. He can't bear to lose her. But Mama doesn't see that. She only wields this threat like a weapon. Mama dips her fingers in the water and rubs it repeatedly over Nalan's lips, the ones that kiss Sedat. She then orders the maid to bathe Nalan, insisting every inch inside and out be scrubbed thoroughly with a wire brush. The maid is terrified, but she's powerless to protect Nalan. Not only that, Mama also cuts off Nalan's food supply and lies to Dad, saying she's on her period and has already fallen asleep. Dad is only too eager for Nalan to rest more, so he never goes to disturb her. Unable to stand by, the maid sneaks food to Nalan in the basement. Seeing Nalan too weak to stand, she wraps her in a hug, small comfort but warm. Nalan weeps silently. A stranger shows more kindness than her own mother. It makes no sense. But here's the cruel twist. Mama does love Nalan in her warped way. She stares at the ghost of her dead daughter, convinced every act is for her granddaughter's good. More than 20 years ago, Mama was not as heartless as she is now. She doted on her daughter, cherished her like a fragile treasure, until the girl slept with a man behind their backs and got pregnant out of wedlock. Then came the premature birth, the hemorrhage. Her daughter died after giving birth to Nalan. That loss left Mama with deep psychological scars. She's never stopped blaming herself for failing to discipline her, for not protecting her, for letting her recklessness cost her life. So she changed her approach to parenting. With her granddaughter, she's brutally strict, determined to keep Nalan from repeating her mother's fate. The next day, Nalan breaks out in a fierce rash. No matter how hard she scratches, the itch won't subside. Mama calls it a sign the holy water's working. It's burning the sin out of you. She forces another bowl down Nalan's throat and won't stop till the day before her wedding. Mama slams down a stack of blank paper, ordering her to keep writing the confession. Nalan feels the weight of death pressing in. In the secret base, Sedat, unable to bear loneliness, finds a woman. Just as things are about to escalate between them, his ex-lover Kana bursts in. Catching sight of the woman, younger and more beautiful than herself, Kana feels a sense of crisis. She puts on a virtuous act, lecturing the woman that seducing an engaged man is immoral. Surprisingly, the woman buys it and leaves. Sedat declares they've already broken up and whatever he does now has nothing to do with her. But Kana is clearly unwilling to let go. She points out he can't forget her. He's just looking for someone to replace her. And that strikes a nerve deep in his subconscious. Desperate to get rid of Kana, Sedat tells his father he can't wait to marry Nalan, begging him to set an auspicious wedding date soon. Mr. Koroglu beams with joy at his son's resolve. The next morning, Mr. Koroglu takes the family to Nalan's house. Eager not to trouble Nalan's family, he brings a whole team of servants along with pre-made delicacies and assorted pastries. Mama anxiously orders the nanny to keep Nalan upstairs at all costs. No noise, no going downstairs. She's determined to delay the wedding. When the nanny notices Nalan's skin covered in large red rashes, she wants to inform Mama, but Nalan stops her. She doesn't want to worry anyone. Hiding behind the window, she watches Sedat downstairs. It's enough for her. Mama lies to them. Nalan isn't home. She's gone to her aunt's farm to rest because of illness, where the air is lovely. But sharp-eyed Muzo senses something off from Mama's unnatural behavior. He excuses himself to use the bathroom, slipping out of her sight. By now, Nalan struggles to breathe. Her skin itches unbearably and she coughs as if her lungs will burst. Too weak to make a sound, she bangs on the floor for help. Muzo just happens to be passing by downstairs. Hearing the violent coughing and banging, he follows the sounds up the stairs. When he opens the door, Muzo can hardly believe his eyes. The usually elegant girl looks disheveled, like a madwoman. Staring at the unconscious Nalan and the scattered confession papers, Muzo understands everything. He rushes out shouting that Nalan is in trouble. They need an ambulance immediately. Mama panics, ordering everyone to stay put and not go upstairs, insisting she'll handle it. That's when everyone realizes Mama is lying. Nalan has been home all along. No one can make sense of why she'd do this. Dad calls their private doctor, urging him to hurry. During this time, he notices the confession papers on the bed and instantly grasps what Mama has been doing behind his back. After examining Nalan, the doctor confirms she's suffering a severe allergic reaction, likely from something she ate, which has caused swelling in her airways. She'd be dead if Muzo hadn't found her in time. The doctor's words leave Mama weak at the knees. Dad spots bruising all over Nalan's arms. The doctor notes they're unrelated to the allergy, possibly from violent impact. That comment jolts Dad awake. He wishes what he's thinking isn't true. Learning Nalan will be fine after a few hours of rest, Sedat's family finally relaxes. They stare at Mama with mixed looks. Dad apologizes for his wife's behavior. Mr. Koroglu feels upset and hurt. He traveled all this way out of care for Nalan only to be met with coldness. He announces they'll never visit again without permission, then leads the family away. That evening, Nalan wakes up. Dad asks if Mama gave her something to eat or did something to her. Mama, watching through the crack in the door, stares at Nalan intently. Nalan denies it, unwilling to betray Mama. But Dad still senses something is off. Downstairs, Dad explodes in anger at his wife. He demands to know if she made Nalan drink that weird mixture of herbs and garbage. Is a single kiss really reason enough to almost kill our granddaughter? Mama snaps back, if we let her run wild, she'll end up like our daughter. Even if Nalan hates me, I'll fight to give her a life without shame. Dad retorts, but you can't make her happy. You almost killed her. The words snap Mama out of her trance. Deep in the night, Nalan goes to the balcony and apologizes to Mama, vowing never to defy her again. But Mama, convinced she's lying, refuses to believe her. With tears in her eyes, Nalan takes Mama's hand and speaks from her heart. Mama, this is the first time I've ever been in love. I'm sorry I hurt you, but I can't stop loving Sedat. Hearing this, Mama is overcome with emotion. Maybe it's time to let go, let her chase her own happiness. The next day, Dad calls Mr. Koroglu to apologize again, explaining that Mama had lied because Nalan was sick and didn't want them to see her looking unwell. Mr. Koroglu responds with generosity, saying they're all family, no need for such formalities. He then takes the chance to invite Nalan's family to visit the wedding venue tomorrow to discuss preparations. That evening, Kana bombards Sedat with texts demanding to talk. Sedat slips out of the house sneakily, but Selin catches him in the act. Sedat gets into Kana's car, making it clear he's no connection to her anymore and telling her to stop harassing him. But Kana sneers, a philanderer's heart never stays put. Sedat replies firmly that he's serious about Nalan, that he truly loves her. Kana finds it impose. Selin sees this and mistakenly thinks that Sedat is still fooling around with Kana. As soon as he enters the room, she calls him a scumbag. You just proposed to Nalan and now you're meeting Kana in secret? Have you no shame? Sedat explains he went to cut ties with Kana, but Selin refuses to believe him. She decides to take matters into her own hands. The next day, Selin storms into the gym alone, warning Kana to stay away from Sedat and Nalan. She adds that she doesn't want to see Kana at the wedding. Kana, unfazed, smirks and claims she could ruin the wedding in 2 minutes if she wanted. Selin fires back, go ahead and try. I'll use every bit of my family's power to destroy you and yours. Kana, furious at the insult, decides to target the naive Nalan first. She calls Nalan, asking to meet for coffee. At first, Kana flatters Nalan, praising her smooth, glowing skin. I spend so much on my face, but I can't get it as fresh as yours. Genuinely, Nalan tells her not to put herself down. For her age, she looks great. After all, I'm over 10 years younger and I've never had kids. It's only natural my skin's a bit better. The comment infuriates Kana, though she hides it. Kana shifts tactics, warning Nalan about her failed marriage and how hard in-laws can be, especially Sedat's parents, who are so strict. You'll suffer once you marry into their family, she says. Nalan picks up on the provocation and retorts, you're older and have more experience, but your failed marriage doesn't mean mine will fail. We're completely different people. Kana doesn't push it, instead putting on a warm smile. She says her kids adore Nalan and asks for a photo to show them. Nalan agrees graciously. Kana sends the photo to Selin, a petty revenge for the earlier insults. Nalan panics and shows it to her father. Mr. Koroglu decides to step in, determined to protect his kind-hearted future daughter-in-law. The moment they meet, Kana brazenly declares he has no right to meddle in her private life, and that he can't order her around like he does Sedat. Mr. Koroglu responds sternly, who you sleep with is your business. But stay away from my family, especially Nalan. That's my line in the sand. Not even my own children cross it. If you don't stop, I'll call your father and tell him what a disgrace you are. Let him discipline his ill-mannered daughter. Humiliated repeatedly by the family, Kana seethes with resentment. She swears to make them pay. That night, both families gather at Selan's hotel, the wedding venue, to go over the details. Selan has hired a dance instructor to teach the bride and groom. With so many media at the wedding, they need to look their most elegant. Under the instructor's guidance, Nalan places her hand on Sedat's shoulder and takes his hand. At first, she's nervous, glancing anxiously at Mama, but as Sedat matches her steps, she relaxes. All distractions fade and they look only at each other, a picture of perfect love. Mama can't watch anymore. He steps out to calm down, heading for the restroom. Unexpectedly, Kana stops her, spilling everything. Sedat's family has been lying to you. Our first meeting? Mr. Koriglu planned it all. The rumors are true. I've been having an affair with Sedat for 7 years. Mama is stunned, caught between a rock and a hard place. The wedding is days away. Calling it off now would crush Nalan, but letting it happen, could Nalan end up like her mother? Nalan, worried that Mama hasn't returned, runs to the restroom to look for her. Mama asks Nalan if she's truly happy now. Nalan replies that it's the first time she's felt loved, truly, deeply loved, the way you only read about in fairy tales. Everything feels this beautiful because of it. Hearing her certainty, Mama, her face long clouded with worry, smiles at her for the first time. In a daze, she sees her late daughter, recalling how her girl once looked forward to becoming a bride, only to be abandoned by that playboy. She must let her granddaughter wear the wedding dress her daughter never got to. As long as she's alive, no one will hurt her granddaughter. Mama returns to the hall, pretending nothing's wrong, and thanks Sedat's family for preparing such a splendid wedding. She even says she'll send Nalan's dowry over soon. Her unexpected cooperation has left everyone completely baffled. Mrs. Koriglu and Selan whisper behind her back. One trip to the restroom, and the devil turns into an angel. In the middle of the night, Mama asks Muzo to meet her at the port. She gets straight to the point, telling him everything Kana said. Muzo, seeing no point in hiding, opens up completely. He admits his brother made mistakes, but those are in the past. We come from a wealthy family, but none of us kids are truly happy. Father never paid attention to me because of my hunchback. He pinned all his hopes on Sedat. That pressure left Sedat lonely. Meeting Kana was like finding water in a desert. He just wanted someone to value him. Mama nods in understanding. Nalan and Sedat are the same kind of people. Now that they've found each other, I hope they can heal one another. Muzo knows Nalan is kind-hearted and trusts she can change his brother. Mama, seeing Muzo as the most reliable one in that family, begs him to look after Nalan to support her. Muzo promises her on the spot. Tomorrow, Nalan will walk down the aisle with her beloved Prince Charming, but there's no joy on her face, only terror. Even though Mama has lifted her restrictions and is going all out to arrange the wedding, that ferocious look on Mama's face keeps flashing in her mind. Living cautiously has long become a habit for Nalan. Mama packs away the man-proof vest that's tormented Nalan for years, letting her wear just a silk dress. But this only fills her with panic and unease. Without that binding, Shikelish feels as if she were stark naked. Mama tells her to forget everything that happened here to start a new life. Nalan leaves home with mixed feelings, embarking on her new journey. Little does she know, it's the start of a nightmare. This is Maroon Recap. Check out my homepage and you'll see more recaps of Camdaki Kiz. I'm hastening to write and edit the next recap, so feel free to leave a comment and share your thoughts. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.